We will be doing this set today. Mostly this video is about taking off the previous set. So here I begin taking off the gems. And after a wrestling match, I was able to get it done. And now with a very coarse bit, I will begin taking off the gem gel as well as the gel polish. Because I will be removing all the nails, I'm going to do a soak off, and I'm going to try the best that I can to do it at real time, at least for one hand, so that y'all can see how I do it to remove the nails. I make sure to thin them out first as much as I can. This is a coarse bit, so it does heat up. It is metal, so I have to keep it moving, and also I have to apply a lot of pressure to make sure that I thin them out, and it'll make it easier when the soak off begins. As I begin to make them thinner and thinner, I try to focus on thinning out the top part of the nail because that's the one I'm going to be soaking off. The edge of the nail, I will be cutting it off with this drill bit. So as you can see here, I am starting to apply pressure towards the top of the nail, or as we're looking at it, it's like the bottom of the nail. But here I will begin to cut off the nail little by little, making sure that I don't, that this bit doesn't slide or anything, because I can easily cut her or myself. And if you're wondering if I am taking these nails off of a tiny baby, because you can see my fingers look twice as big as these fingers that I'm handling, but this is my daughter's hand, and she is 18 years old. She just has the tiniest, most adorable little hands ever. So I am replacing this set because she's actually graduating from high school and she wants her graduation set. So that's what we are working on right now. Again, here I try to focus on thinning out the top of the nail, and as I come down towards the tip of the nail, I begin once again to apply more pressure so that I can begin to make an indentation on the nail, and then proceed to cut off the tip of the nail. Every time that you see me touching like that, my thumb over her nail, she has told me that she feels the drill bit getting a little bit hot. So I make sure that I continue moving my drill bit, and then I also touch her nail to make sure that it's not heating up. Just the process of thinning down the nails with my hand drill and this coarse bit usually takes about, maybe I'm going to say maybe around 7 minutes per hand, more or less, depending how fast I'm moving. And then after that, I go ahead and put the swabs with the acetone on there, and I use the 100% acetone, and I proceed to just leave them on there while I work on the other hand. I've seen a lot of people on social media, they're always saying soak-offs just take too long, soak-offs are too hard, and that they don't really work. That's why I decided to do this video, because I don't know, to remove the nails, I always do soak-offs, and it doesn't take that long in my opinion, because like I said before, I work on this hand, I make sure that I thin it out, cut the nails, and then put it to soak while I work on the other hand. And then I come back to this one, then it's it's already done. So unless they just want the nails to be soaked off and not get a new set, then I understand it could be a little bit tedious, but either way, this is a service. You do charge for it as well, so I don't understand why this would be an inconvenience. This is why there is a charge for soaking off the nails, because it is time consuming. We do have to make sure that we do not hurt the natural nail, that we make sure that we take our time and that we do this properly, just to ensure that we do not hurt whoever we are taking the nails off from. And the process begins. I grab the cotton balls, I soak it completely in acetone, and then I use my little clips here to hold it in place. And I will be doing this for every single one of her fingers. As you can see, it's a very, very tiny little hand, but I can assure you this is an 18-year-old. I love, love, love my set of nails. It looks amazing. I've been doing nails like crazy this week, and my stones are still on there. They still look great. They're super shiny. Love, love, love my set. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same exact thing on the other hand. And I did go ahead and speed this up because I'm doing the same thing, removing the gems. Then I come around with my coarse bit to remove as much as I can from the acrylic on the nails, as well as the gel polish, and I cut off the tips. Just on this hand, I did not remove as much of the acrylic as I wanted to, because my drill bit was already a little bit hot from the previous hand. So I decided not to remove too much of the acrylic, because my daughter has very small hands. They are also very sensitive, so that's why I try to be extra careful with her. You saw me there using my nail cutter. I did that to show y'all that you could either use the drill bit to go ahead and remove the tip of the nails, or you can thin it out and then use the nail cutter. You do have to thin them out before you use the nail cutter, if not you're gonna break your nail cutter. Been there, done that. After I did the same thing to the other hand, I came back to this hand, to the first hand that I had done, to see if it was ready. And at this point I am using my ceramic drill bit because I am not wanting to hurt her, and this is a safety bit. Even if the top of my drill bit touches her skin, it's not gonna burn or cut her. So I begin to remove the acrylic. It's already soft, so really my drill bit is only pushing it to the side. Once you remove the top layer of the acrylic, sometimes there is some of the acrylic left on the nail. At this point, I usually decide to put the cotton ball back on the nail with whatever remaining acrylic is left on the nail, and leave it on there while I continue with the rest of the hand. And most of the time, by the time I come back, when I'm done with the fifth finger, most of the time it's already done. So here I'm doing the exact same thing, removing as much of the acrylic as I can. And it's already, most of it is very soft because of the acetone. So I just try to slowly just remove it, and then when I'm satisfied and I see that there's still some that's hard on there, I just put the cotton ball with the acetone back on it, And also you can see when I remove the cotton ball, when I take off the clip, I press on the nail because the cotton ball that still has acetone can bring some of the acrylic with it. So it just makes it way easier so that my drill bit doesn't have to do that. You can also see here, let me go ahead and zoom it in. If you look at her natural nail right there, you were able to see that her natural nail, after I remove the acrylic, is not damaged. It doesn't have the drill indentations that you commonly see when you remove your nails. In my case, I don't like to drill on their natural nail really hard because I don't want to damage their natural nail. Now here, my daughter told me that I missed her nail. That was so funny. I had to put it back on. Even after I've had my own set of nails, going on 2 weeks already, and I do nails and I, file some of my nails off sometimes. Look at the shine on my gems. It's just amazing. Okay, anyways, I just wanted to, again, talk about my own set of nails because obviously I love it. And after going around all the way to the thumb, I come back to the pinky, make sure that I can rub all the leftover acrylic off. If not, I come in with my ceramic bit one more time, just go over the nail, make sure I get all the little tiny pieces. There is nothing wrong with leaving a little tiny layer of acrylic on your nails because I'm going to put a new set on. But sometimes I try to take it off, sometimes I leave a little bit. It all depends on my mood, really. Look at her tiny little nail beds. It's so adorable. She's like super tiny little fingers. It reminds me when she was a tiny little baby. Yeah, she's got the tiniest little hands, but yeah, she looks this little tiny as well. That's why she's still my baby, even though she's 18. As you can see, there is still a layer of thin acrylic left on her nail, but I believe that I don't get it all. I just continue and just leave that tiny little layer on that middle finger, but on the rest of the fingers, I believe that I did get all of the acrylic from the nails. After I've removed all the acrylic, I come back to push back her cuticle and begin to prepare the nail for the new set. And even though I am using my coarse sanding band, I am using it at a very low speed because all I need to do is remove the shine from the natural nail. in order for the new set not to have any lifting, preparing the nail has so much to do with lifting. So I always try to make sure that I really take off the shine, but I'm very careful at the same time to not damage the natural nail. I used to do this with my hand file, but I use my e-file now, and I do use the coarse sanding band, but as you can see, I am very careful. I just don't want to hurt her. I don't want to hurt or damage her natural nail. So everything that I do with all of my tools and with everyone is just be extra careful. Now I'm going to be using my Zule's stiletto tips, and I just like using these tips because, well, I love Zule's products, but I love using these specific stiletto tips because I usually, she loves the coffin tip, so this time I think I did a ballerina tip, but this makes it a lot easier for me to be able to shape the nails accordingly. So I don't know, just stiletto tips makes it easier for coffin or for ballerina, so I'm using these tips. I also want to be very specific when you're placing the nail tip on the natural nail. You need to make sure that the nail tip goes from side to side of the nail, like from one sidewalk to the other, because if not, that can cause lifting as well. So I always make sure that if I get a bigger tip, that I cut the sides with the nail clipper and just make sure that it fits exactly the size of the nail. Now here I am using my coarse sanding band again because I am trying to make the tip flushed with the natural nail as much as I can without hurting her. Sometimes I will also file the rest of the nail because I hear that it helps with adhesion, but honestly, in my experience, flushing the tip helps me make the nails a little bit thinner. And here I will show you how the pinky has the tip super raised. You can see it here. So I try as best as I can to go ahead and just flush it out the best as I can, but sometimes it's still, there's nothing you can do. She's got a super tiny little hand. So in this case, I just gotta work with what I got. And now to measure out the nails with this little heart that I made out of acrylic and some forms, because that way you don't have to be crossing her hand over the other one to measure the length of the nail. So you just use the little heart every single time. After some reasonable time has passed, I go back to the other hand just to see if it's ready. Start filing off all the soft acrylic, once again doing the same thing. So I did go ahead and speed up this side as well, since I did real time on the other hand. I do apologize because my big old hand just keeps getting in the way of the camera. I wasn't really paying attention when I was doing this hand because I was making sure that the other hand was of clear view when I was doing it, so that I could y'all can see everything real time. But on this one, I did go ahead and speed it up quite a bit, and I was being a little bit careless. Sorry. Here is my to-go. It's a dehydrator to go ahead and balance your pH on your nails. I do 2 coats of that. Then I come back around with the nail primer. This is acid free, and I do 2 coats of this. It works wonders for me, so that's what I use since that's what works for me. Now for the acrylic application, I am laying first a clear coat of acrylic on the natural nail just to make sure that whatever set I'm going to do, I am protecting her natural nail from getting stained in case I decide to go with a colored acrylic, or you never know. But in this case, I am going to go with a soft white acrylic. I actually mixed the white acrylic with clear acrylic, so I know that this specific acrylic will not hurt her nail. But out of habit, I just went ahead and laid that little, layer of acrylic. Now here I begin to shape the nails. She wanted coffin, but I do what I want. I'm kidding. I did go ahead and do ballerina accidentally, but to my defense, she's got a super tiny hand, ballerina tip. I just was like, yeah, it goes together. You're welcome. It looks great. So we went with that. And here I am putting some white of the soft white acrylic that I made. Also putting some clear acrylic. I mix it kind of to make it a marble effect with the clear in it. That is what she wanted. She also will want some gold foils. Sometimes I will go ahead and in this part add the gold foils, but because I'm doing the marble effect, it's kind of thick already, and I didn't want to add more to encapsulate the foil. So I'll be adding the foil in the end and just sealing it with the top coat, which also works great. So no worries, we got this. So here I am adding some more of the clear acrylic just to kind of encapsulate the marble, make sure that the nail has the thickness that I want it to have, because I'm still going to come in and file. So just making sure it's as thick as I want it to be. Okay, so now to the soft white nails. These 2 nails, the middle finger and the ring finger, are going to be completely white, the soft white. And oh God, I'm always sweating when I do white nails, because I just feel that, the laying the acrylic has to be perfect. And I try my best here. I did put what is put? I don't know. Bueno, bye. I did put like kind of a bigger bead so that I can begin to mold it, make sure that it goes, from side to side, and just pull it down as best as I can. The weather is super hot right now, so the acrylic is drying faster than usual. So, I kind of need to hurry up with this, but I'm a little slowpoke and it just dries halfway. And by the way, this is a crooked nail. I hadn't noticed that I lay this nail crooked all the time, obviously, from what my daughter was telling me. But then she was like asking me, why am I always making this nail crooked for her? And I was like, what? Your finger was crooked when you walked in. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Other than her crooked finger, I continue to just lay the white acrylic. I am trying to make it as thick as I want it already, because I do not plan to encapsulate these white nails, because I have noticed, I don't know what it is, but usually when I encapsulate the white acrylic, it sometimes turns yellow, but sometimes it just looks kind of funky. So with my experience, I just leave the white acrylic alone. Just, you know, make it the thickness that you want it and just move on with your life. Don't try to encapsulate. Don't try to reinvent. Do not try to reinvent the wheel, because you're just gonna mess it up. There's already a wheel. Oh, here you can see that I'm trying the best that I can to work a little bit faster. I did speed it up as well, but the acrylic was just drying up on me like on the spot. So I'm just trying to move a little bit quicker, because if I don't work faster, it's fine. Like, I could still file it off, but it's gonna look really funky, bulky, and it's gonna take me way longer to file it off if I keep doing this. So yeah, work smarter, not harder. And if I sound drunk with this voiceover, I am not, I assure you. Those are the old days of the drinking. It's just like 3 in the morning right now, because this is the only time that I have to edit my video, do the voiceover, you know, just be myself, and in this quiet and peaceful house in the middle of the night. Now, while I am sealing the cuticle and, you know, filing away, I want to let you all know that I did not record after, you know, the filing, because one of my kids needed to get picked up from school, because it's the last week of school. They're in finals, and he needed me to pick him up. So I left, and then I came back to finish my daughter's nails, and then I did that, and I forgot to record. So I do apologize for that, but I am including the video that I took of the final look, and you know, so y'all can see how this set turned out. I personally wanted to go all out, draw a little cap there for her cap and gown, you know, put, you know, 2021, but no, she wanted her birth year, which is 2003. She wanted some gold little flake, and here is the final look. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.